In my neighborhood, we want you to just be like, woosah, because you feel good. You've got everything as much as you can taken care of. This is not a topic that probably anybody likes to talk about. However, I kind of talk about it a lot now. It's the Before I Die Fest. You need to be prepared for death. That is part of life. My guests are here. I can remember the first Before I Die. This was after my stroke. And they called and said, would you like to talk about getting close to death? And I thought, no, I do not. I do not. But now it's something I try to get my parents to talk about. They won't do it. My parents won't do it, but we're going to figure it out. Justin Magnuson is here, Before I Die Fest liaison, also works with U of L's Traeger Institute. Christa, Sprouse Social Work Program, Hosparus Health, and we appreciate everything that Hosparus does. And Juergen Tossman, producing artistic director at Bunbury Theatre. Now, why would a theater be here? Let's start with you, Juergen. You all actually have a play that's surrounded with getting ready for the last stage of life.
Yeah, it's called Visiting Edna, and it has only been produced one other time, and that's at Steppenwolf Theater Company in Chicago. And I understand why. It's a very difficult play to produce.
Is it really?
It is, and it's hard to market it because it's about a cancer patient and her son who are desperately trying to communicate to each other. But it's funny, it's poignant, and it has lots of messages. And you know, cancer is one of those things that people don't really like to talk about.
Just like death.
Yeah, just like death, don't like to talk about. And she's in her latter stages, and they're trying to figure it out. And so I think it's very important to do pieces like this.
I agree.
You know, we dig into a deeper art. We work with Hosparus Health. We work with Justin, the Before I Die Fest. And we hope to get the word out and have people come see it.
But art allows us to take things in that we may not want to look at and bring that emotion that we need to handle it, I think anyway. Just like Wit. Have you ever seen the play?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
That play was life-changing to me. So the Before I Die Fest, let's talk about that, and the Traeger Institute.
So in 2016, I had a community roundtable discussion. My friends Kel McBride and Deb Tuggle came to the event. We started talking about, well, how can we raise awareness around the need to talk about death and dying. I had done some work around National Healthcare Decisions Day with advanced care planning. I realized that just the paperwork is not engaging enough to get people to really come out to an event.
But you have to do it.
But you have to do it. And so we were like, well, how can we get people to come out? And we were like, well, what if we mixed conversations around death and dying with art and other creative meetings? So the first year we came together, we had 20 events. We had art, we had theater, we had poetry, we watched movies. And the themes were around end of life. And we started developing relationships with organizations. I'd had a relationship with Hosparus Health. I've actually known Juergen for years. And so as we went into the second year, it's like, how do we collaborate with these relationships? And this is what it's really about, relationships, to have these conversations that we otherwise might avoid. And so in 2017, Bunbury did Tuesdays with Maury. That we had a community conversation. It's a great story. We can see ourselves in those different roles. And we had a conversation afterwards. I'd been developing a relationship with the Traeger Institute, which before this just provided education for healthcare students around what do older adults need as they age. And
not even, well, I'm an older adult, I realize that, I'm 57.
Adults 50 plus.
Yeah, okay.
No, you're a youngster.
Aging adults.
Even someone like me, I mean, I remember my children in ICU fighting when I had my stroke about how to, they were asking my kids, what are you gonna do for your mother? I never talked to them. Yeah. We have to have the conversation.
And it's so, I mean, think about how many things over the course of our life we avoid because it makes us uncomfortable.
Yeah, too bad.
Or I don't want to make you uncomfortable.
Right?
And
well,
so,
it's better to have that than to be in the hospital room and the doctors are asking you, what do you want to do?
And nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
Yeah. And with Hosparus, you know, when you say Hosparus, everybody's like, oh, no. Oh.
Yeah.
But death is part of life.
Absolutely. And you're exactly right when you say, where do you work? I work at Hosparus. People usually take a step back.
Yeah, everyone's like, oh.
You're so special.
Yeah, you're so special.
Oh, you know, I don't want to know about that.
Yeah.
But every opportunity that we have, the point of contact we have with a person, whether it's out in the community or if I'm at the bedside of the hospital with someone, or maybe I'm in their home, wherever that home may be, I have the opportunity to connect with that person and to begin having those vital conversations about advanced care planning and to demystify so many of the taboo around that. And whether that's somebody that's in palliative care or closer to the end of life of hospice care, I can have those conversations with them to educate them and empower them so that their wishes are honored. And that's a privilege to work at Hosparus, to be able to have those conversations.
It takes a special person. It
Thank
takes
you.
a special person, Christa. As you all saw, that information, hosparushealth.org was on the screen there. And so you can reach out to them. There it is. And so all together, I mean, you all are doing just an awful lot. So when is the Before I Die Fest?
So we've kind of panned back, realizing that 20 events in a month is unsustainable.
lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
So trying to do pocketed events over the course of the year, like this collaboration with Bunbury and Hosparus and some other community providers, to have some conversations in February with visiting Edna, doing events in April with National Healthcare Decisions Day.
And how do we keep up with you, though? Because you're going to be doing all these things.
So we're going to be doing all these things. Before I Die Fest has a website, beforeidieLou.com. We have a Facebook page. The Traeger Institute has a website and a calendar where we'll be putting up events, but really trying to kind of cast a net where we're including all of the people that should be part of this conversation and finding ways that really engage people where they are and provide safe, really community conversations that can generate, and provide tools and resources that people can use.
Yeah, because you need these tools and resources. It's not as hard or as horrible as you think. It really isn't. The play, Visiting Edna, will run February 7th through the 23rd. Now, this is important here because on the 9th and 16th, following those shows, there will be community conversations.
Correct. Yeah. Community conversations with Justin, people with Before I Die Fest, and people with Hosparus Health. And we'll have the actors involved as well, so, get their perspectives on their characters and what they've learned.
All right, all of this is so important. I can't even begin to tell you, and there's so many pieces to it. I have my living will, I have my health surrogate, all of that, and I still have more to go. But we need to learn this, and we need to talk about it.
Absolutely.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much.